This is my 2005 GMC Yukon, and today I'm going to do a complete rear brake job, including new calipers, new rear rotors, new brake pads, fresh stainless steel brake lines, and a complete brake system flush. Let's go.
So I'm doing a OEM direct replacement. These are Napa calipers, brand new. These are substantial calipers. She's a big girl, 6,000 pound truck. And then I've got fresh AC Delco rear discs, vented from the factory. And they got the black hubs on them, which looks nice. Then I have got myself a set of the StopTech stainless steel brake lines. I've wanted to go stainless on this truck for a while, so this was a good opportunity while I was replacing the entire braking system to put in a little upgrade that helps with pedal feel. You know, you gotta get your anti-seize. I've been wanting to try one of these for a while. It's an auto bleeder that you hook up to an air compressor and it draws the fluid through the system. I'm going to do a complete flush of the brakes before I put any of the new parts on. Before I put the new rear calipers on, I'm also going to give them a coat of VHT gloss black just to help the rust stay at bay and keep the dirt off as best I can. I know they'll still get dirty, but doing anything I can to prolong the life of these. Got to get yourself kind of the brake clean. Any brake cleaner will do. And then this was a good tip I learned from Chris Fix, is you get yourself a turkey baster, and that's how you draw the fluid out of the reservoir. And then I got myself some fresh brake lube for the little parts that need brake lube, and got your blue Loctite. Got fresh factory pads. These are the ones that come in the truck from the factory, so I got a set of theirs. This is my caliper compression tool. I got some banjo bolts in there. It's good to have a good jug around. Drain a lot of the old fluid into this, and that'll be good. I'm going to take apart the caliper and give it a coat of VHT gloss black, just to give it some protection, a little longevity on the rust, and to help keep the dirt off. These things are really simple. You just pull apart the slide pins, set them aside. You don't want to paint the slides or anything like that, or the gaskets. These are brand new, so you want to be very careful. That's the rear caliper for the basically 99 to 2006 Silverado, Yukon, Tahoe. Anything that's like the 1500 platform. This one's got veins on it. So I'm gonna pop out all the clips in this clip here. You're gonna pull that out. And then this is the hanger, the floating portion. So I'm gonna pop out these clips too, and then mask off the boots. And the slide holes, you don't want to mess with this stuff. And then I'm gonna give these a coat of VHT. So let's do that. Okay, we've got the caliper hanger masked off. And we've got the first caliper masked off, ready to go. So time to start laying down some VHT. Just gonna start with a fairly light coat off the stock. Heard that if you go too hard off the start with this VHT, it can get a little streaky. And all the paint pro guys are probably losing their mind right now, but I don't care. I can't afford you. We'll let that first round of paint tack up. Get a bit of a breeze. So I live on a coastal island off the west coast of Vancouver, Canada, and it is kicking off right now weather-wise. It's mid-October, and we are a little bit of a system coming through. As you can see. So this may have to be a 1 or 2 day job because it's too windy out there. weather is honking out right now. And there we are. Got one of them painted and hanging. Is it the best job? Definitely not. Will it help keep the rust off? Sure will. Okay, looks like the weather is clearing up, so we can keep working until dinner time. Okay, time to break off these nuts. Okay. Okay, get the jack stands in position. Okay, how are we looking? Day 2, working on the 2005 GMC Yukon rear brakes. We are doing a complete rear brake swap to fresh OEM parts. Okay, so got the wheels off. Now we're gonna remove the calipers. There are 4 bolts that hold these calipers onto the truck. There are 2 12 mil at the top and the bottom here. There's 2 18 mils back in here that holds the floating caliper assembly. If you take off the 2 18 mil bolts on the back, everything comes off the truck in one piece. And as I'm not keeping any single piece in here, anywhere in braking in here, I'm gonna take it all off as one piece and then just hang it from here for now. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, come on, yeah, there it is. Okay, there's the hanger. There it is. Okay. There's the pads. Caliper hanger. So the crazy thing about these rotors is that there's no bolts holding them onto the truck. They're actually held onto the truck by the wheels. And so you just give them a quick whack. There it is. Boom. I'm not sponsored by Yeti, but gosh, I would love to be. Okay, and that's the e-brake on these things. Pads look a little thin, but gonna have to adjust them. So there we go. Come on. Oh yes, okay. Yeah, baby. Let's get it going. 170 foot-pounds. There's a lot. Is it coming? Whew. I didn't strip the bolt head, so that's a win. Oh, this is the one that's probably gonna suck. Car ownership, am I right? It's so good, so fun. Yeah, come on. Yes. Oh, oh, she's crusty. Let's go. I have my jack stands in place. I have my jack in place. But if all that fails, you don't want this landing in your lap. This truck weighs 6,000 pounds. The truck won't notice the concrete. Or you. Success. There it is. That's the, I call it a floating caliper. That's what it floats on. Those are the slides in the back. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with this one. You just shouldn't replace calipers one at a time. And I'm doing 2. So there you go. Now, this is my favorite part. These things aren't held on with any bolts. So just boom. Ta-da! This was the side that was seized, so there's going to be a lot of extra iron. So what I'm going to do before I put any of this stuff back on is I'm going to clean this whole area really well, because there's a lot of iron everywhere in here. And I've got fallout spray, which neutralizes the iron. Shows up kind of as purple, and then you just blast it off and clean it all up. So, gonna get all this crap out of here. So just sprayed this with some brake clean. And gonna let that sit for a bit. I know all this old stuff's coming off, but I'm swapping out lines, so I'm just getting some gunk and crap out of there. And another fun hack is I buy these cafeteria trays on Amazon. They're about $2 to $3 each. And they work as a great drip tray, and they capture any of your old bits that fall off of your brakes while you're doing them. Next, I'm going to use some of this Simonize iron fallout remover, and it will help clean off. It'll help clean off a lot of the iron particles that are in and around some of the suspension components, and just help this area have a lot less iron in it. Anyway, I'm going to give it a spray and power wash it quickly. Got the fallout remover in there doing its thing. Don't know if it's showing on camera, but it turns the iron purple. Okay, the first step after getting all the old stuff off is we're going to want to clean the surface of this hub. So I'm going to take a wire wheel to it and just put and scrub off some of that old rust. Just want a fresh surface, and then after that we're going to put on some anti-seize. So yeah, let's clean up this mating surface with the wire wheel, and then we'll get some anti-seize on there. Okay, we're going to hit this hub with the wire wheel and give it some a fresh clean, and then we'll put some anti-seize on there. Wipe off any of the extra residue. There you go, that's looking way better already. A lot of this rust particles will just wipe off, and then the brake clean will help keep it clean. Okay, now we're gonna apply a coat of anti-seize. This is the silver edition of the Permatex stuff. You can get the copper. Some people like the copper, some people like the silver. This is what Amazon had in stock, and it works just fine. So you're gonna brush some in and around the hub and kind of just get it anywhere where the wheel meets up to this hub, just to make it easier to get your wheel off next time. Usually these come with a a brush attached to the lid. So you just want to kind of brush it on. Make sure you get the center of the hub, so that's where your wheel is most likely to stick. And then you just want to put some in and around this mating surface, around the studs a little bit, just around the base of them. Basically, I want to try and coat the innermost parts of this hub because it makes it easier for your wheels to come off when you want them to. When you're switching to snow tires, or you know, you gotta, you know, check your brakes or whatever. Just having this on makes it a lot easier for yourself down the road. Okay, this was where it starts to get fun. The braking system starts to take shape. One of the tricks I learned from many of the tutorials I watched was, to start, you put the rotor on backwards, and that allows you to clean the backside before you turn it around. So after putting the rotor on to start backwards, you use some brake clean, and you want to give this inside surface a good clean before you flip it around. And give the, don't forget the inside of these is the parking brake. So you want to wipe everything down, make sure it's nice and free. That's that protectant coating that they put on these things from the factory. Just give the inside a good wipe down too, because that's where your parking brake is on these rear brakes. Give it a good wipe, nice and clean. And then these should just slide right over. Boom. Okay, now that you've got the new rotor on, just give it a spray of brake clean. You're gonna get off any of the anti-seize that may have come through and any of the coating that they have on there from the factory. You wanna get all that crap off before you move any further, before you put any fresh pads in there. Give the hubs a wipe, give your spindles or your bolts, your lugs a wipe. Try not to be an idiot and spread anti-seize everywhere like I just did. With the pads, so you want to make sure that you're mounting them properly. This is the up position, so they sit like that on the wheels. So with this curve here, that means this is the up position. It sits like that around, I'm doing the driver's passenger side, so this is the back side of it. And these are our pads. Those metal tabs right there. The camera's picking it up. These silver tabs up at the top right here. Come on, you fuck. These tabs right here at the top, those are the warning tabs, and those need to be at the top of the calipers. So make sure you install these at the top of the sliders, the caliper brackets. So now I've already got the anti-rattle clips in. With some caliper grease, just so that they slide nicely. And so this one will just sit in like that. I'm just gonna get it in the groove. I'm putting it in the wrong way. This one will sit in like, this one will sit in there. And this one will sit in there. And you just gotta find their home, but they will fit in. Sometimes this is actually easier to bring it in from the outside. There you go. So you just gotta get these both in their tracks so that they will slide. There's enough grease in there that they'll slide. And then what you do, that's the next step. So that's a loaded that's loaded, ready to go. So these calipers are held on the two floating brackets, or the two main brackets are two 18 mil, very substantial bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom, and they're torqued to 170 foot-pounds for these big boys. And then I'm using some thread locker as well, but 170 foot-pounds for the bolts that mount into these two holes. I've got this thread locker gel. It's blue, but this is 170 foot-pounds. And I like to put the bolts through first so that you're not running Loctite through the caliper unnecessarily. So I'm gonna do the top bolt just so it can hold its gravity, its own weight. Swing this old caliper right out of the way. It's shot, so we're not worried about hurting its feelings. So I realized I have my wedding ring on, sorry wifey. And then you're just gonna slide it over the rotor, pull the nut out a bit just to let it clear. And find that top hole, line it up, and just thread it enough in so that you can let go without anything dropping. If you want to work it all the way to hand tight, you can. And then just kind of make sure the caliper hanger is settled up nicely. The brake pads will kind of find their center. And then you want to take this bottom bolt. This one's a little trickier because you have to put it through while it's on. So just rub in your anti-seize before you put it in. This gel formula is kind of neat because it just doesn't drip. So it's super handy when you're doing this challenging location stuff. So then just get your Loctite bolt, find the bottom hole there, and it should, if everything lines up, thread in for you. Now, both those bolts, now that they're in, we're gonna torque them down to 170 foot-pounds. I'm gonna get them tight and then I'll torque them down shortly. Okay, that one's coming up on tight. I'll just get the other one in so they're getting in evenly. You're not cross threading, are you? We can just gross threads. This feels like gross threads. Wouldn't have gone that far into that cross threaded. Yeah, it's just getting close and it's gross threads. Those are probably not. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Okay. It's tight. That's tight. Okay. So now, caliper hanger is on. Pads are in place. And the next step is to swap out the old brake lines, which are in here. And this is a gross job because for a little bit of time, the truck will be bleeding brake fluid. So let's do the gross thing. I'm gonna start by actually removing the old. So now we're gonna release the old brake. These are the hard lines that are right there. And then the soft lines come in from the caliper in behind here. And so I'm gonna disconnect the hard line and then you knock a bracket out that holds the brake line. It looks like you can't, but you just give it a good tap on this end of the old hose and it pops out of the bracket. To get this banjo bolt off. And there you go. That's the old caliper out of the truck. Now we just have this old brake line, old banjo bolt, don't need that anymore. Got it pinched off with some vice grips. And now we have to, kind of the most challenging part is get the old lines out and then put the new caliper on and get it tightened down without losing too much brake fluid. So here we go. Okay, time to torque everything down. I borrowed this beauty of a torque wrench from my buddy Todd. The two 18mm bolts in the back require 170 foot-pounds. And then the caliper hangers, I think they're 75. I'm gonna probably put up the right number as a little text right there. Okay, 170 foot-pounds is no joke. Oh, wow. That is a substantial amount of torque. Okay, now we're gonna torque the two caliper hanger bolts down, and these go to 31 foot-pounds. This torque wrench is awesome. It can go from 15 to 200 foot-pounds. There we go. It's torqued. And that's torqued. Has been a very wet few days. This project's taken a couple days longer than anticipated because the weather has been absolutely nasty. Then, I like to put the top one in just for safety. My hand, the anti-seize really helps them thread up nice. And then the bottom one for safety. Okay. And then you can just give your spine a break. Oh look, little banjo bolt in the mud. Shocker. Okay, we're gonna put the rest of the spline drive lug nuts on. They're torqued down to 140 foot-pounds. Driver's side wheel back on, everything torqued down. Just gonna do the same on the other side, and we'll drop this thing back down onto its wheels for the first time in a couple days. Oh, there you go, that wasn't bad. And she's down to earth.